Okay, so now I'll talk about Platinum. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this. The truth of the matter is there is no easy way to get it. You can't actually get Platinum from the game, no surprise there. So the next best thing is to get an item that everyone would like to buy. People will pay a decent amount to buy. So an item that is not so hard to get that you won't get it, but not so easy to get that everyone can get it. And the item of choice is
another job well executed.
Yep, so you guessed it, it is Rhino Prime chassis. These days, Rhino Prime chassis go for 40 to 50 platinum each. Now, I've done a lot of T3 survivals. I have gotten quite a few Rhino Prime chassis. I think there's been 2 to 3 times where I have had 2 Rhino Prime chassis. I remember in my sort of 80-minute plus T3 survival video that I uploaded, I actually got 2 Rhino Prime chassis then as well. In that single run, but the reward table didn't show because the 20-minute reward got sort of rolled down the line because there was such a long survival. But these days, Rhino Prime chassis is definitely the item to farm and then sell for platinum. And lastly, I just want to say, with farming resources, you definitely want to use a decent Nekros. And this is the specialized farming Nekros build I'm using. And funny enough, this is actually the Nekros build I go to now, just because of all the changes. So, a quick build breakdown. Desecrate, that's what's going to give you your extra drop, that's what's going to give you your extra resources, that's what's going to make your dropping time possibly fall by half. So, the way this build works is basically optimize Desecrate. So streamline one from the top, fleeting expertise, one from the top to optimize that efficiency to 75%. Overextended and stretched to optimize the power range to quite literally, the whole room pretty much, any room. Flow for the extra energy bank, natural talent to increase that speed. Most of the time, this is not too important, but if you do have a Nova, which I would actually recommend because Nova kills so fast, spamming and Prime, the natural talent do actually help get a few more bodies, just because the enemies disintegrate a bit faster. And as usual, vitality and redirection to keep you alive. I put in a rage mod there to fill up the remaining points. It doesn't hurt you, it probably wouldn't benefit you much. For those of you guys that have formatted slightly differently or want to put an extra format in, you can definitely put in a rush mod in there, which is another mod I really like. A lot of people don't like it, I like it a lot. The only reason that I have 4 formats in there is because for those of you that see my Specialized build episode 2, I actually had Terrify and Terrify and Shadow of the Dead on there. Now, with all the changes, that's no longer necessary, or that is no longer recommended. It's quite funny I say that because as far as I know, there haven't been any major or any changes for that matter with Nekros recently, but because of the changes with Blessing and Molecular Prime, Nekros have to change. And the reason for that is, if you think about back in your, pre-Blessing update, the gameplay was Blessing all the time, M Prime all the time, and then Nekros can cast Terrify to decrease that armor. So, increase that damage, and then you can either have a Nyx or a Rhino casting Roar or Chaos, whatever you like. And then Shadow of the Dead can give you a bit of sort of meat shield buffer if you like. Now that's completely changed. Blessing is no longer practical, and Prime have changed. They're having a lot of talk. I've done a few videos on M Prime, how to sort of counter it, but overall it's definitely nerfed, it's definitely not as good as it was before. So now Nekros really need to sort of focus on a Desecrate build to provide you that excess oxygen for that long T3 survival. In fact, now I have a new strategy for T3 survival. I don't even use Nova or Trinity anymore. I will share the secret shortly, probably in the next couple of videos. But this is definitely the Nekros build I recommend at this stage. So just to remember, guys, if you're in a squad of 4, you use this build, that's pretty much all you need, because all you do is spam and Desecrate. But if you are by yourself, I still recommend a Nekros, but you definitely want some top tier weapons, because if you can't kill the enemies fast enough, or if you're only killing 1 or 2 per second, you're not going to be desecrating much at all. And one final thing, for those that don't know, if you want to farm for Oxium, you want to do Sedina on Kappa, and ironically for this particular mission, just because Desecrate don't work on those Ospreys, you actually want to use either a Rhino for Stomp or a Nova for Molecular Prime. The reason for that is both of these powers help reduce the likelihood that those Ospreys will self-destruct, which is a massive issue if you're running in a random squad with a lot of sort of possibly lower ranked Tennos. But if you're running with other competent squad members, any sort of fast damaging weapon will do, and you don't really have to worry about stomping or M priming.